Olga's show, the show for you to grow and learn from. I have regularly guests coming to my show to share with you some incredible value, and also I do sessions like today, for example, which is Q&A with me on the mindset, lifestyle, and habits. And today, just like I promised last month, I'll be starting with a question which was asked at the very end of the show. It is only for 20 minutes, not to take too much of your time, but actually perfect timing for you to have a lunch with me or maybe a quick cup of coffee or tea. So I will start with the question which was lastly asked during the last session, and you feel free, my dear friend, to post any of your questions in the chat below, and obviously I will respond to you whilst I'm still alive. So the question was, how to have strategic thinking as a habit? Well, my darling, everything in your life you do as a habit. Think about it. The way how you wake up and you brush your teeth, the way how you wake up and you do yourself a cup of coffee or anything else, that all is a habit, right? So what's important to remember, habit is developed after numerous occasions of you doing something. The same applies to the strategic thinking. So how can you have strategic thinking as a habit? Is doing that on numerous occasions, which means thinking strategically every day. That could be you waking up in the morning and having a plan about how you will get today to the work, but in a strategic way. And you really go through details, right? Or you having a goal and you breaking down that goal into little strategic plans. Okay, what can I do? If I'll do this, that will happen. Almost like playing chess. That's why chess obviously takes so long, because you go to think strategically. Okay, so the only way how you can build it as a habit is doing that on a regular basis. So take simple things of your day and bring them into the habit of thinking about those stuff in a strategic way. Okay, so I hope that answers the question. And if you have any other questions, please type them below. Otherwise, I will go through the list which I have here in front of me. But before we do that, I would like to say Happy International Women's Day. And I have here beautiful, beautiful bunch of flowers, which my wonderful husband sent them to me in regards to this day. And I thought, why not to have them today in the video, because today is actually such a special day. And I know the Women's Day happened yesterday, but guess what? We can celebrate things every day. Okay, every day should be a celebration day, and every day should be the day when we actually honor somebody. So, are you ready for the next question? In that case, let's go into that. I know this question is not really related to the mindset, lifestyle, or habits, which the topic is about, but I was asked this question. In fact, I was asked this question on multiple occasions, maybe because of my nationality, but I think we need to address that. Okay, and the question is, what do you think about Putin and the Russian Ukrainian conflict? Well, that's kind of two questions in the one question, and I definitely would like to address this question, despite probably it seems like there's nothing to do with mindset, lifestyle, and habits, but actually there is, and I'll show you the connection. So what do you actually think about Putin? Let's start with the first question within the question. Okay, well, I think that he is responsible for his own actions. And I think everything what we do in life, whether good or bad, is something that either shows our integrity or lack of integrity. Okay? And the question which I always ask myself is, if I'll do this, would be my son proud of that? So what I think about Putin, that he most likely is not really taking care of whether his children will be proud of his actions, whether he does what they say in the media, or whether he does what he says he does, regardless. Okay, so I think the good question what he can ask himself is, would be my two daughters proud of my actions? And I think another question what Putin can ask himself is, if those people would be my two daughters, would I want them to be in the situation where Ukrainian people are right now? That's another good question what he could ask himself, okay? But what do I think about him is, and that's based on working with so many people whom actions were not really aligned with care and good intentions, let's put this way, that a lot of our behavior is coming from trauma. A lot of our angry and devastating behavior is coming from anger, something unresolved, something that we have since childhood, and those issues are still triggering us. And that's why you very often see people who are destroying their families, destroying their societies, destroying their communities, because they are resolving in the wrong way, of course, their own personal issues. And I see it again and again in the corporate organizations. And I see it again and again in the behavior of CEOs and clients who come and work with me that do tell me that I want to work on my performance, I want to work on my productivity at work. And the minute we start diving deeper into their performance at work, we quickly can see that actually performance at work is affected by their personal issues. Okay, so what do I think again about Putin? That just like many other politicians, he probably never had any professional help when it comes to well-being, when it comes to resolving traumas, when it comes to resolving personal issues. Because people who actually are wanting to truly have peace in the world, they will do it slightly differently. Okay, that's my personal opinion. I can see there's a question from Samreen. I will get to that. Thank you very much. So stay here. I will just answer the second part of the question. And what do I think about the Russian and Ukrainian conflict before answering your question? And thank you so much, Samreen. I really appreciate your question. So we'll definitely get to that. So the second part of the question says, and what about the Russian-Ukrainian conflict? Again, very strong question. Some of you might know, some of you might not know that I actually do have Russian background. So I have a mixture of nationalities within me. I was born in Latvia, but I am partially Belarusian, I'm partially Russian, and I'm partially Polish. So I have quite Slavic mixture of blood in me. And it breaks my heart. It breaks my heart, the conflict. And the reason why it breaks my heart is because I know that all these political games are there to fulfill somebody else's ambitions and deal with their own personal issues on a political level. And it breaks my heart to see so many people suffering. And in a world where women were fighting so much for equal rights, still the majority of men are fighting in the war, right? So I think this is the good time to remember that, hey, no matter how much we fight for equal rights, they still take our men to fight, okay? And there's a reason for that, okay? Because we are here to be the caretakers. We are here to nurture. We are here to protect in a different way, okay? And I think right now, as you all know, there's so many women and children who are refugees. There's so many men as well amongst them. And what really breaks my heart, apart of knowing them suffering so much, and by the way, I do have direct contact details, not of the refugees, we keep their privacy obviously to themselves, but I have direct contact details of people who take care of refugees. And we have contact, the bank details if you wish to directly transfer any money to these people who actually look after them. One family, they're actually hosting two families in their own home. And another person with his wife, they actually are transferring people from Ukraine to Poland relentlessly, right? And within 10 days, there were hundreds and hundreds of people coming through his own hands. Well, metaphorically, obviously, in his car. So if anybody would like to donate some money to support them, I'll post the details below this video. You're more than welcome to support them financially, because I know these are trusted people who actually are looking after refugees and those people around them as well, okay? So I'll post the details. But what actually breaks my heart about this conflict, that there's so many more conflicts within this conflict. There's a conflict about non-inclusivity and not sticking to respecting diversity. There were lots of comments, nasty comments on social media that people from colored background, they were pushed towards the back of the queue because they were not Ukrainians, for example. And I don't support that. I think when there's a trouble in the world, then we got to forget about the colors, the races, the religions, and everything else, because that's what will always tear us apart. For as long as we pay attention to these differences, we will be always apart in the world, okay? So if we cannot do that during the hard times, how can we talk about diversity and an inclusivity during the good times, okay? It's just like in relationships. If a couple is not staying together through hardships, then during good times, of course, they're going to be good. But then how strong is their relationships, right? The beliefs, their values, their integrity is checked through the hardships, not through the good days. The same here. Diversity and inclusivity should be shown and should be exampled during the hard times. So what do I think about the conflict? It's terrible, without any doubts. And I really doubt there's any person in the world who would say, oh, I love that, because I would doubt their sanity in that case. Okay, so undoubtedly, it is absolutely heartbreaking. Undoubtedly, it is devastating. Let's also remember that there are so many other conflicts in the world which actually need our attention. And again, after working with so many organizations on reducing conflicts in their workplaces, I just learned one thing, that when we pay attention to our differences, right? When we pay attention to our superiority, this is when conflicts start. When we start respecting each other gifts, when we start respecting each other, when we start really loving each other for the way we are, then you will have understanding, then you will have appreciation, then you will have respect within the family, within the organization, within the society, within the country, within the world as a result, okay? And one last thing about this topic, and I will close this topic and I will go to Surin's question. I would like to say that something I was always hoping for and wishing for, and maybe one day it will happen, but I really wish that we could actually provide our politicians and provide people who are in charge and in power with support on overcoming their own personal issues before they get into power. I'm not sure if you watched the movie How to Become a Tyrant on Netflix or not. If you haven't, I highly recommend it. It's a really good movie to watch and learn how not to become a tyrant, obviously, right? Because that's not the idea for you to become one. But what you will learn there, if you will watch this movie, that there's the same pattern again. These people who are misusing their power, they had troubled childhoods. Okay, so what I really wish, and then maybe one day it will happen, let's pray for that, that people who are in charge of societies would get professional help to get to resolve their personal issues, their childhood traumas, their insecurities, the things that actually trigger them, and as a result, they are harming the society. So I hope that answers the question. Thank you very much for bringing this up, because I think that's really important. And I really appreciate that we actually could speak about this, because right now is very important time to talk about that, as it is very on topic right now. But again, let's not forget, it's not only this conflict that we have in the world. There were wars in the world for years. And again, those also need to be resolved. And there are also refugees of those wars, and they also need support. But if you know any of people who suffered from these type of events, please make sure you provide them with some sort of support. One thing that these people forget all the time, and it's understandable, because obviously for them priority is to receive shelter, is to get food, is to get clothing. That's understandable. But very rarely they see that they have trauma as a result of the events. So, what I would strongly suggest, please help these people to overcome their trauma as much as you can. Refer them to specialists, refer them to support groups, refer them to support organizations, because these people need professional help. They don't know their need, because it's something that we as a society got used to think that you just suck it up and move on, but they need it. Okay, so please make sure you do your best to help and support these people also emotionally and psychologically. If you can't do it yourself, refer to people who are professionals who can help them with that. And myself personally, I dealt with many people with their traumas in their childhood, their traumas through the wars, their traumas through conflict, and I know how different their life is after that. Okay, so please make sure you support these people. And now let's go to the last question of the day. This is by Sumreen, and the reason why it's last question because we don't have any more time. Okay, so let's go into this question. Thank you so much, Sumreen, for asking this question on LinkedIn. The question is, as you can see on the screen, as follows: how to stop people having an ill mindset who try and discourage people around them and do not let them grow or become creative. Dear Olga. Well, what a wonderful question. And I must say that, can we ever stop anyone? I mean, why to waste time on stopping other people if you can invest your time into yourself? I'm not sure if you heard the phrase, the quote, that in order to change the world, you got to change yourself. In order to change the world, you got to change yourself. And the reason why, the world is not perfect, and it never will be. There is a low tide in the ocean and there is a high tide. There is a sunny day like it is now, and there is a rainy day. There's a hurricane day, right? There is cold and there is warm. There is hot and there is freezing. Okay? There'll be always two polarities in the world. And for as long as there are two polarities, it's up to you to adapt, right? On a sunny day, you come out in shorts and t-shirt. On a rainy day, you put a hoodie on, you take an umbrella. So how to stop people? How about stopping to stop people? And how about helping yourself to break through that? If they have ill mindset, leave them to that. They have their own journey. They're not aware yet that they have ill mindset. It's like, I'll give you this example. If you look at babies, right, they crawl before they walk. And a baby that walks doesn't look at those babies who just crawl at the minute saying, oh, you losers, come on, stand up and walk. See, I can walk. You losers, you will never walk. I walk already, you still crawl. No, the baby that walks, it walks towards those babies that walk, that run so they can play together. And those who crawl, they crawl amongst those who crawl, okay? They don't judge each other. They are on separate journeys and they respect each other's journeys. It's just the one who is walking already and running knows that he's older and he can go or she can go and play with other children, okay? So exactly the same happens on our mindset journey. Some people still crawl. Some people do first steps on and towards healthy mindset, okay? Towards productive mindset, towards success mindset, towards love and appreciation mindset. And other people are running through that. Other people already living extraordinary life. Other people already see obstacles as just advantages, as just gifts, and they turn them into presents, right, to themselves. So we're all on different journeys. So what I would like to suggest you, my dear friend, here is stop stopping those people and kickstart yourself. Stop stopping those people and kickstart yourself. That's what you need, right? Because if somebody discouraging you, why would you listen to somebody discouraging you, right? If somebody is not letting you grow, well, have you ever seen a tree growing through bricks, growing through tarmac, growing through incredibly strong rocks and breaking rocks apart? Well, if a tree can do, what can you do? Think about it. Okay? So if somebody is stopping you being creative, well, be creative without them knowing that. Okay? Do it whenever they don't see it. Again, here's what's important to remember. Of course, we all have family members that don't believe in us, that don't support us, that don't want us to grow. And that's okay. Remember, they're in their crawling journey. They're still in their baby stage. If you already started walking, that's okay. Respect them and their journey. but remember to spend less time with them. You don't have to fire them, they're your family. Let's appreciate our family, but respect their journey. Okay? By spending less time with them, you will let yourself grow. Okay? Family you don't choose. Family is something that we all have since we're born. But you choose your friends. And when you're telling me, if you would be telling me that my friends don't let me grow, my friends don't support me, my friends discourage me, I would say, you have wrong friends, my friend. You have totally wrong friends. And here's the tip which will help you. Create a list of all your friends, the whole long list, and then divide your page into two columns, left and right, and have in those columns green friends and red friends, right? In your green zone friends will go friends who support you, who motivate you, who inspire you, who have ambition, who want to achieve in life, who want to break through in life, who are creative, who have great mindset. In the red zone goes everybody else who doesn't support you, discourages you, maybe bullies you, whatever else, talks about you, is jealous of you, right? So everybody else goes to the red zone. And do me a favor, follow this rule. Next time you meet somebody else and you feel that don't belong to green zone, just don't continue communicating with them. It is that simple. So that's what I always follow. Whenever I meet somebody at a networking event, whenever I get introduced to somebody and we have a conversation, I always ask myself this question: green or red? And if towards the end of conversation, I feel my energy is a bit doubtable and I didn't feel good about the person. Again, it's nothing to do with religion or color or race. It's just energetically, I feel this person is probably too low and probably just draining and probably just negative and the victim mindset, red zone. That's it. We have 7 billion people in the world. So don't tell me you cannot find at least 3 people who will be in your green zone. Okay? It's important for you to protect your green zone friends. Everybody else goes to the red zone and they get fired from your life. Why? Because you are like that plant in a pot that you will overgrow your pot. In fact, here I actually have a plant for you. I'm surrounded by flowers and plants, right? So when this plant is overgrowing the pot, if I will keep this plant in the pot, it's gonna die. There will be not enough space, okay? So I got to keep replanting the plant to give this plant enough space to grow. And exactly the same your environment, my dear friend, is doing for you. You are the plant in your environment. If your environment is not supporting, if your environment is not helpful, you got to change the pot. You go to the new environment. You find new friends whom you put into your green list and you stick with them. So I hope that answered your question, Samreen, how to stop people having an ill mindset who try and discourage people around them and do not let them grow or become creative. So, first tip, stop stopping these people, let them grow whilst you walk. Second thing, create your list of people and divide them in the red and green zones and stick only with the green ones. When it comes to family members, if they are in a red zone, in that case, just spend less time with them. Don't let the negativity eat you from inside. Okay. And last thing I will also would like to add to this, and oh, thank you for your message, Serene. Many thanks for a very satisfying answer. I'm really glad you're happy with that. But last thing I would like to say, always listen to your feelings. Always. Okay? Very often people ask me, Olga, but how do I know who is green, who is red? I always tell them, listen to how you feel. The way how you feel is never lying to you. That's your intuition. You have inner compass inside of you, your best friend, your best advisor, your best consultant, your best coach. Okay? That inner feeling is never lying to you. If some feeling inside of you says, don't meet with that person, don't have this person in your life, don't talk to this person, don't. Just don't. You don't have to explain yourself. You can just say, I'm too busy. There are 7 billion in the world. Again, remember, there's 7 billion people in the world. You can find at least 3 people who will be from your beautiful environment protecting you. Okay, so you are welcome, Samin, and thank you so much for your beautiful question. It was really, really good one. So Mahesh says, trying to keep silence and productive way to think about it. Good. So in that case, take your time and think about it. Okay. And Saminki says, beautifully explained, my friend. I'm really happy you enjoyed the explanation. That's it for today because unfortunately we don't have any more time. But it was my pleasure to be here with you, answering your questions. And I'm really grateful for the question about the conflict between the Russia Ukraine because it is really important one. And I think we definitely have to address the issue. So thank you very much for that. And before I go, little reminder that I will be back with you again on a second Wednesday of the month with questions and answers. So anything you want to find out about minds and lifestyle and habits, you're more than welcome in the meantime to send me a question. Do it on LinkedIn, do it on Facebook, do it on YouTube if you wish, or send me an email, okay? And I'll make sure I'll cover them. But of course, you also can ask these questions whilst I'm live, just like I did today. And once more before I go away, happy Women's Day to all the ladies in the world. I am celebrating you. I am saluting you. I am honoring you. And I would like everybody to just put your hands together, right? And put them on your heart and thank your mothers, thank your grandmothers, thank your ancestors for giving us lives. Okay, we cannot be born in a jar. We are born from a woman's womb. Okay, so it's really important to remember that we are here to thank you, all women, for giving us life, for being there for us through the hardships and through the good times. Thank you for believing in us. Thank you for loving us. Thank you for forgiving us. And thank you for being there for us. Every single woman on earth, I salute you. Don't forget, believe in yourself, love yourself, support yourself. If you don't do it, others will not. Others are treating you the way you allow them to treat yourself. And we can really see it right now in the conflict where Ukraine stands strong because it doesn't let to be treated the way how somebody wants them to be treated, right? So it's really important to remember that you got to love yourself unconditionally. I'm speaking to you, my dear lady. Love yourself, and this way you'll be able to spread the love around the world. Okay? I can see there's a question from Kilum on YouTube. I need a private way to contact you. What I will do, I will post my email address and you can send me an email and then we can have a discussion from there. Okay, so thank you very much for your question. Thank you very much to everyone who was watching me today. And if you're watching on a replay, please do type below a replay. I would love to know where you're located. Please do share below. Where are you today in the world? Let's make sure this message goes around the world, reaches the hearts and the corners of this beautiful world. And I'll look forward to see you next Wednesday again. Remember, my live show is coming out weekly on Wednesdays at 1 p.m. UK time, and usually it's around about half an hour time maximum. Sometimes a little bit overrunning, but usually maximum 30 minutes. So thank you very much for watching me today. It was a pleasure receiving your questions. It was a pleasure to answer them, and it will be my pleasure to receive more of them in the future. So take care of yourself. Have a wonderful day. And thank you, Simreen, for your message. Happy Women's Day to all the way from Pakistan. How amazing is that? So thank you so much. Much love to you all.